So it shouldn't come as a shock to anyone that light is incredibly important, whether you're doing photo or video work. And honestly, this 300 watt Bowens mount bicolor light from GVM is good for studio power, pro control, and it's got a budget price. It delivers for actual shoots. It's an easy recommendation, but let's jump in. So if you shoot photo or video, light quality and control can make or break your result. And a 300 watt light with a Bowens mount, DMX control stands out because it promises high output, flexible modification options, and a professional workflow, honestly without a premium cost. I'm gonna break down the build, the features, the usability, the performance, and the value. We're looking at what the specs mean in real use and how controls and apps behave, where the light kind of limitations matter on set and on location. I'm gonna keep it practical and specific so that you can decide if it fits for your work, not just a spec sheet. Quick disclosure, GVM did send me this light to review. Although they are not paying me for this review, I'm gonna give you my honest opinion and experience, and they won't be getting final approval before it goes live on my channel. So first, let's get into the hardware. Now, a light can be powerful on paper, but hardware design determines how often you're actually gonna reach for it. The GVM SD300B is an all-in-one body with a built-in power supply. There's no external controller box, and the design is 25 by 135 by 135, and it weighs about 2.8 kilograms. And as such, it lines up well for travel as well as fast studio setups. The construction combines aluminum alloy as well as plastic. You get a standard Bowens mount up front for broad modifier compatibility. It's got a U-frame for tilt control with handles that make it easy to position and move. And the ventilation is integrated around the chassis with an LCD screen for status and settings. Cooling is handled by an internal active fan, which they describe as intelligent and whisper quiet. So generally it is a tidy, lightweight, self-contained 300 watt head with familiar ergonomics and a Bowens mount for most shooters. And if you're avoiding potentially dangling control boxes, this design is going to feel relatively refreshing and straightforward. Next, let's talk about output and power. Now, the question with any 300 watt light like this is, does it deliver usable power and color where it counts? Now, this is a 300 watt bicolor LED with a 0 to 100% dimming control and a color temperature that has a range between 2700 Kelvin and 6800 Kelvin. It's rated for CRI 97 plus and TLCI 97 plus. That's for color fidelity. It's got a consistent flicker-free output that's designed to minimize corrections in post. You're not going to see yourself having to do a whole lot of color correction or modification beyond what you normally would, as this light stacks up exceptionally well to all the other lights that I have and matches the white balance that I'm doing on camera. Now, in practical terms, it is an AC only operating light, which means that you will want main power or a suitable inverter for location work. Now, the unit's designed for a broad beam spread and strong output, and the bicolor flexibility lets you match practicals or shift the mood without gels. So if you're a studio user or you've got reliable power on set or out in the field, the specs and output flexibility can check all of these boxes. In fact, I was able to hook this device up to a 600 watt power station that I had when I was out in the desert. It pulled exactly 315 watts at 100% power, and I was able to shoot for over an hour and a half. Next, let's dig into how you control this unit. So speed matters, and physical controls are often faster than anything that you can get in an app. So you get onboard manual control with a knob and an LCD. It's pretty self-explanatory. You make the adjustments that you need to with the knob, then click again, make the other adjustment between intensity and color temperature. The LCD is bright and easy to see even in the day. And the interface also includes a mode button to allow you to move to settings, Bluetooth functionality, and switch to some of the FX modes. You can also adjust the fan modes from smart, high, and silent so that you can balance thermals and noise depending on the shoot, plus Bluetooth reset control right there on the back. So overall, the controls on the back of the unit are relatively straightforward, easy to access. There's not really a whole lot of bells and whistles here, but at this price, I don't really think you're expecting that. You're paying for the quality of the light itself, which you get, and the control is easy to do. But you also have additional connectivity, which makes this light a little more flexible. So for teams and multi-light rigs, you have app and DMX support, which can make or break your workflow. You can control the light via the GVM app over Bluetooth, and it also integrates into professional environments with DMX and RDM. The app allows you to make adjustments to brightness, color temperature, access those same built-in effects. And one really cool thing is that the system actually allows you to access its mesh Bluetooth networking. So you can actually control multiple lights together with a range of up to 50 meters, even if you're only accessing the one that's closest to you. It also does over-the-air firmware updates via the app so that you keep everything current. And DMX Control offers both 8 and 16-bit operation for pro consoles and more granular control. So you can do single operator shoots all the way up to large grids in the studio. So if you're building a small ecosystem, the mesh app control is useful. And if you're working on larger sets, the DMX and RDM access is a path to consistent, repeatable control. But how does this actually translate when you're actually shooting? Because specs don't necessarily tell you how a light behaves on set, in a studio, or in a harsh outdoor environment. So you've got 12 built-in effects like lightning, bad bulb, candle, paparazzi, and TV, which are practical, creative B-roll or simulating ambient sources. In studio photography, continuous light makes exposure decisions straightforward. You're basically setting everything through the lens. So when you need to see exactly how something's going to fall off, where shadows are going to land, how other lights are interacting, having powerful constant light can really help. And again, for outdoor use, where I actually took this out into the desert for some sunset photography, having constant light made it so much easier to dial in my exposure against a changing sky.
Now, out here in the middle of the desert, I would normally be shooting with flash, but today I have the luxury of shooting with light, but not just light, I have constant video light. I'm actually able to use this light to get photos in the middle of the desert. I went ahead and tried this both bare bulb with the full diffuser, and then I pulled out the honeycomb grid and I pulled out the first layer of diffusion. So I just have the inside screen diffusion right now, and it's giving off what I think is really nice light. For the record, I'm wearing my sunglasses because this light is frickin' bright. But the advantage that this gives you from a creative standpoint as a photographer or videographer is pretty significant. Because even though you can shoot with strobes, you don't always know exactly what it's gonna look like when you shoot with the strobe. And I can shoot at high frame rate, I can shoot adjusting for my background exposure, and I can shoot looking through my viewfinder, looking in my screen and knowing exactly what I'm gonna get. There's no modeling light that's gonna give you this outside of a studio unless you pack a lot of power. The GVM300B, it's a bi-color light, which means that out here where everything back there is super warm and I've got this light on me, which right now in my camera looks kind of cool, it's a little too cool for my liking. I wanna bring it down. I wanna look a little less out of place in my environment. And so what I can do is I can actually bring down the temperature or the color of this light. But that's the thing, a light like this gives you so much creative potential. It allows you to really just do a lot. And because of the fact that it's bicolor, you can really quickly switch between maybe simulating or augmenting daylight in the morning or the afternoon. It's so cool that I can shoot like this and that it looks like this. It looks so good that I'm out here in the dark and I'm basically shooting at base settings.
For studio video, it works excellent as a YouTube key light or as a fill light. You can also use it for live streaming. And with a Bowens mount, you can effectively add anything like a softbox, projector lanterns, reflectors, and in bright outdoor video use, The included reflector allowed the light to be strong enough to effectively overpower the bright background. And adding additional diffusion outside definitely reduces its punch, but it definitely softened shadows and filled in some faces. Now, with diffusion, it's definitely going to be less effective against direct sun, so you might want a higher wattage light if you're going to be shooting in noontime conditions, right? Your sunny 16 is not going to be directly affected by a diffused 300 watt light, but it still helps. One thing to note when talking about outdoor use, it is not weatherproof or weather sealed. So you'll need protection and coverage if the weather turns nasty, or if you're in an environment like mine where it's rather dusty. So this light is versatile, it's reliable both as an outdoor and studio workhorse, and it's capable as an outdoor tool when powered and protected properly. These limits are all realistic, especially when we talk about using it against hard sunlight. But also price matters. So let's place this thing against its competitors, because budget honestly can be a major factor. Now, on their product page, they price this at just under $400. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I have seen far better pricing than that on various online retailers, and I believe they're doing a special, which if they are, I will link that down below. Now, one brand that I would call budget friendly offers a similar light with similar features and power rating, but it's between $200 and $400 more. Now, the big guys do have a 300 watt light out there, and they do have an established ecosystem, but you're gonna pay, again, $300 or $400 more. And even their budget brand is over $50 more than this product at MSRP, and over $200 more if you look at some of those discounts that I mentioned. So a lightweight, all-in-one body that reduces setup time, gives you consistent light, temperature control, has built-in cooling, and is at a price that's considerably better than most of the competition. I think honestly, at this price, if you're looking for something budget with this much power for an in-studio, or maybe a secondary light out in the field outside, this is a phenomenal price for a really great product. But the best light is the one that fits your needs and your constraints. So if you're a budget-conscious creator who needs high power, this is the light for you. If you're more of a run and gun shooter or doing a lot of outdoor shooting where weather is going to be an issue and power access will be an issue and V-mount battery compatibility is something that you definitely need, this might not be the light for you. But if you're building a studio or a small production setup, this thing is awesome. So shooting outdoor video, shooting outdoor stills photography, and doing just kind of fun creative stuff, this thing honestly hit every mark for me. That's it for my review of the GVM300B bi-color light. If you want to support what I'm doing here, consider becoming a channel member. It's $1. I've got links down below to this product as well as everything else that I use here in the studio and what I use as a photographer. Now, those are affiliate links. They do go to help the channel. But the best way to help the channel is just to go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. That goes a long way to helping me grow here on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.